Uh, ah, well, hello. Doing it again because Jupiter is retrograde, so of course I'm going to do this video again. Um, Yesterday I made a video of what is Ketu in Vedic astrology, and then there was a little blunder towards the end because the brain kind of reverses, when when Jupiter is retrograde. So, and the reason why I had to delete the last video, it was a very simple mistake that I made with the Ketu video. But the thing is, the video would be up here for God knows how long, forever, like YouTube exists. And if somebody new watches that video, they will think that this is true versus the other. So I have to redo this. I have to redo this. And the blunder that I made yesterday is talking about the exaltation and debilitation of Ketu. So Ketu is exalted in Scorpio, debilitated in Taurus, Mool Trikon in Capricorn. So that's the highs and lows of Ketu. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. It's not the other way around. It's exalted in Scorpio, debilitated in Taurus, and Mool Trikon in the sign of Capricorn. Now, let's restart this whole Ketu thing. What is Ketu? Okay, so Ketu is the south node of the moon. It is the mathematical point, okay, which is 180 degrees apart from Rahu, the north node. And Rahu Ketu are always 7 houses apart, 180 degrees apart in the birth chart. There are certain divisional charts where Rahu Ketu come together due to the calculation of the degrees, due to the meaning of the chart. Okay. And Ketu has 5 and 9 aspect. It has 5-9 aspect. So wherever it's at, it'll aspect the 5th house and it'll aspect the 9th house from itself. So that also is Ketu. Now, Ketu simply means, first of all, isolation, seclusion, introvertedness, solitary confinement. Anywhere where you are just you, where you have no other thing to interact with, to understand, to know. That is Ketu. Like when you die, people think like, well, I'm going to become a soul and I'm going to see these ancestors, this and that. That could be. We don't know. We just hear sages and we have to believe them because they're intelligent. But then people who find moksha, liberation, they're just merged in with everything and they're no longer talking to one entity or one person in the other realm. They're just zero. They're the universe now. They're everything. So anything that lets you understand yourself by yourself, that's Ketu. So when somebody is in jail, okay, you're in a cell by yourself. You have nothing but your thoughts and yourself, unless your cellmate is, gonna have a good time with you in that night in jail. That's the only time you'll have a mate. But even then, if you do something wrong in a jail, then they put you in solitary confinement. It's a dark room, probably the half the size of my office, and it's dark and nothing. There's nothing. Which actually for a spiritual person would be an excellent thing because they'll just be meditating in that darkness. So, and in ashrams, places which are like monasteries, very secluded places, are seen with Ketu, which I'll discuss in the places as well. Ketu represents spirituality, meditation, moksha, liberation, enlightenment. And this is why it's also said that if Ketu is in the 12th house, okay, in a water sign from your Karakamsha Lagna, which is one of the Jaimini astrology alternative ascendants, you will go to the highest of Loka. So sage Jaimini, the super intelligent brain, I'm sure he knows a lot. That's why he's saying this. So you have Ketu in the 12th house. And especially in the sign of Jupiter, like Pisces, Sagittarius, it's like guaranteed you're going to go to the highest of the realms. Ketu, just in the 12th house itself, shows liberation. Okay. So So that's one of the things of Ketu. Because when you meditate, um, you are going within again. So you could be in the middle of a mall. You could be at a sports game, and you can start meditating. And if you're good at it, everything will become silent outside, and you'll go within. That's Ketu. Ketu obviously represents electricity, electrical engineering. Lightning is Ketu. And Ketu also represents programming, linguistics, languages. This is why Rahu Ketu in conjunction to Mercury and Mars can always takes a usually takes a person into computer engineering, software engineering, newish technology. With Saturn, it can show electrical engineering as well. Um, Ketu also represents cuts, wounds. Okay, um, especially because Ketu represents sharp objects like knives. So what is the result of having a sharp object like knife is to penetrate something, and so it's known as a cut and a wound. And Ketu is also a surgeon, like Mars. Ketu is a surgeon. Yeah. Um, Ketu represents occult, mysticism. What do you call psychology? Learning of psychology is Ketu. See, Rahu represents psychiatric education. See, Rahu can be a psychopath. Ketu is all about psychological issues that we have. Everybody has psychological issues. From me to you, everybody has dealt with some psychological issue. Why? Well, that's another thing about Ketu. The reason why Ketu represents psychological issues, not psychopathic issues, because Ketu is the past. Ketu is the illusion of the past. That's the right way to say it. Ketu is the illusion of the past. The reason why it's the illusion of the past is because Ketu is the past. So whenever we regurgitate to our past, oh, I remember our college days, oh, I remember our high school days, oh, I did this, oh, I met her, oh, I met him. Ketu gives you this illusion that there was a past to you. While if Ketu wasn't here, first of all, you won't be here, but even if you were here, there would be no past. You would be thinking in a complete now form that this is who I am right now. I don't remember anything that happened even an hour ago. So in a way, Ketu helps you because then you remember, oh, that's my child, that's my wife. So past, and this is why whoever has a past has some psychological issues, something that may have bothered you, something that may have, pinched in your brain. So that's Ketu. Um, Ketu represents, like I said, withdrawal. You withdraw. People who live out in a place, Ketu represents places like the boonies, deserty areas. Somebody who may have like a isolated home on some mountain hill. That's Ketu-like places. Okay? Ketu um, represents like very quiet places, monasteries and ashrams and dark caves is ruled by Ketu. And when it comes to people, okay, Ketu represents monks. Ketu represents nun. Ketu represents I wouldn't say a priest because priest is more of a Jupiterian person, but a spiritual priest is Ketu. Like for example, you take Sadhguru, okay? He's all over the place now, but he never talks about religion, Hinduism. He talks about on a more universal level. Whenever somebody talks about something on a universal level, that's priest. That's a Ketu-like priest. They have no identity. Ketu also represents people like philosophers, people who dwell on things. That's Ketu. Ketu represents your maternal grandfather, paternal grandmother. Then Ketu also represents mystics. sages. So like actually if you notice, Sadhguru calls himself a mystic and a sage. So he's no religious priest. So this is why uh, Ketu is related to such people. Ketu also represents giving, giving away, giving wealth, not giving away, giving wealth without any condition. So, for example, when a planet comes in your life, right? Like Jupiter, Jupiter is a planet of prosperity and wealth. So, Jupiter is supposed to give you, let's say, something while it's in Libra. When it comes to Libra, Jupiter says to a person, uh, you know, uh, silently and telepathically, what is it that you're going to do to receive this wealth from me? Are you going to start your business now? Are you going to play some lottery? Are you going to pray to God? Are you going to be a good person for me to give you this wealth? Because I have a lot of wealth. I'll give it to you. Here. Venus is like, oh, you want all these luxuries and you want this nice car? What is it that you are supposed to do so I can give this to you? Okay. Now, many people, like let's say somebody who gets a dasha reading, most of the time I've seen people whose Ketu dasha is about to start and they will always write, my Ketu dasha is about to start in 3 months. Can you please tell me? I'm quite scared. What's going to happen? Ketu's doing this and this, and it's in this house. First thing you gotta know, Rahu, Ketu are very surprising planets. They shock people. But what you don't understand about Ketu is that Ketu represents the zero-ness. Ketu represents like Buddhist monks, Buddha itself. So when it comes to people and identification, that's also Ketu. So if let's say Ketu does not care for wealth. Whenever Ketu comes in, a person stops caring for wealth. They don't really care how much money they have, how little money they have. But what happens is when Ketu comes to you, and it's supposed to say, you know, what are you going to do to get this wealth from me? And you're like, well, I don't know. Ketu's like, okay, here, take it. I don't want it. Ketu's like, whatever I have, I don't care to have it. So even if you're a good guy, bad guy, I'm gonna give it to you. Here, take it. I don't care. Just leave me alone. See, Ketu and Rahu are very outcast planets. They go against the social norms of society. This is why they go backwards. And Rahu, Ketu break rules. So Rahu and Ketu are telling the universe, telling Vishnu, telling Brahma that you want me to follow these rules to give this person whatever they want because they did this, and I don't care. Oh, I'm exalted, I'm not going to give you anything. Oh, I'm debilitated, or I'm in such a thing. Okay, I'll give you. That's a surprise element. But for Ketu specifically, Ketu's like, I don't want to hold anything in my possession. Here, take it. I don't care. Leave me alone. Get out. So this is why some people go to the highest of status in Ketu period. They become prime ministers. They become, governors. They become the IPS officers. And if you notice, why is Ketu representing success? Especially like Ketu if it's in Kendra or Trikon, and especially if it receives the aspect of Kendra or Trikon Lord, very powerful Ketu. Very powerful Ketu. Why? Because first of all, Ketu is signified by flag. What is the job of a flag, and what is the meaning of a flag? See, back in the days, it wasn't about countries. 10,000 years ago, there was no United States. 15,000 years ago, there probably wasn't even Russia and Europe or India, nothing. Flags were simply used to tell during a war that we have conquered this thing. So do not come after us again. The war is now stopped because we put our flag down. So Ketu represents that success, like I already own this. And the other thing about a flag is always up high with the wind. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees the victory. So great victories can be attained in Ketu Dasha. And especially when it comes to objects, Ketu will represent like amulets, talisman, any kind of like a special thing that you carry for some spiritual progress. That's many times people think, oh, some Baba gave me this talisman, some Baba gave me this amulet, I got this Rudraksh, this and that, wealth and money is going to come in. No, that's really mainly for your spiritual progress. Rudraksh is for your spiritual progress, nothing to do with money, wealth. That may come in if some sage energizes it, which are literally 0.19% of the people that will actually be able to do that for you. But that's those are the things that Ketu represents. And like I said, knives, sharp objects is represented by Ketu. On the negative side, Ketu can represent, robbers, thieves, terrorists. Why? Because remember what did I say about Rahu Ketu surprise element? They surprise you, right? They completely surprise you. Um, so if let's say usually how does let's say suicide bombing or bombings happen? Everybody's going out their normal thing, they're shopping, their thing, and boom, out of nowhere this blast happens, and either they die or they get to lose one of their limbs or they get hurt. So things happen. It's a surprise element, and because the what do you call the infusion, how the bomb is created, everything is so introverted and tightly connected that it can no longer handle itself, so it bursts. This is why Ketu represents that process. I forgot the vocabulary. I don't know if it I don't think it's called induction. It's something a nuclear fusion, something. I forgot the name, where all the particles are so tightly packed that just a little bit of thing and they'll burst. So same thing represented by Ketu. Ketu, if you go within, you keep meditating, you keep your sadhana, what happens to a very, very few select people? They become light bodies and they leave. They burst into light and they leave. You don't realize your body is the most amazing, powerful vehicle. You're trying to go to Mars through these rockets that Elon Musk is making and all of them. You don't need none of that. Your body is so powerful. You can, through your meditation and conscious, go to Mars and see exactly what's there. You can go to Neptune, you can go to Jupiter, you can go to Saturn, you can see inside the sun. You can see how everything is working. So no need to go anywhere. But if you become a light body, you can just physically transform yourself from here to a different loka, different galaxy, different planet, different plane. Okay, so that's what Ketu is. And obviously, in terms of body parts, Ketu represents pineal glands and represents pituitary glands. Why? Ketu is a karka of intuition. Intuition is Jupiter and Ketu. Pineal gland is what activates the um, intuition. So these 2 points here, and especially what I've heard is that if you meditate with the purple light around you, just purple, just imagine a purple light, okay, or maroon or purple light, and that will stimulate these pineal glands. And that's where, when you see things, when you become aware, see, intuition is simply being aware. That's all it is. One of the most simplest way to increase your intuition is to walk in nature, observe everything. I hear a tree, I hear a bird, I'm seeing a plane go by, I see the sun at this position, and right now on the grass I see butterflies, or I'm hearing this one particular bird, I see fox go by. Okay, all these things are here. This is where I am. This is what's happening right now around me. As soon as you start becoming aware of everything, that's where this thing becomes active. But it takes practice. It just doesn't happen on one try. You have to keep doing it every day. Like, I'm sitting here, I have to be aware exactly where everything is. I know there's a desk here. I'm aware of it. I know that's the mouse. I'm aware of it. I know there's my CDs and whatnot and my books. So I'm aware of these things. So this is why awareness actually brings in um, your intuition. So if you see somebody, see, when we see somebody, we open the door. Hey, how are you? Okay, see you. Bye. When you open the door, you should be like, I see you. This is the person with this body, this hair, this eyes, and the way everything is. This is the person. This is why in different yugas you use different body parts. In Satyug, you used your head. You communicated telepathically. You didn't even like talk. You meditated. This was the only thing. The crown chakra was active in Satyug. In Treta it was more about the eyes, like visually seeing things, seeing everything. Intuition became very strong. Drupyug was smell. You can sense things. You can smell things. This is why the aromas were really came about in Drupyug. And then Kalyug is about voice. We talk, talk, talk. We curse. We say this, we say that. Fake news, real news. We keep arguing with each other. One says Earth is flat. One says Earth is round. One says Earth is a completely different type of a plane. It just all argue. It's all nonsense. Nonsense. And this is the lowest form of communication. That's why it's the Kali. So that's what Ketu is. And then obviously Ketu, I was telling you it represents 5-9 aspect. And Ketu is a very slim structured body, very bony, slim structured, brownish and hazel brown type color is Ketu. Like, I don't know if I can show you some Ketu like color. I thought yesterday I had it. I think, well, this is more of a mustard yellow. Just think of this darker part of this. Well, let me see. What happened? Oh no! My incense just dropped. Okay, I'll pick it up. Okay, so I think this is, see this? This is like a more of a Ketu type color, grayish brown. It's not even this. It's like mustardy greenish brown. There's a specific color for it. But the thing is, Ketu also represents, like, remember I said cuts, bruises, wounds. So Ketu can split things in two. Because Ketu is sharp object. What is the job of a sharp object? To open something and split it. So when you go to a butcher, they're butchering this piece of lamb leg and it's cutting in different pieces. So Mars and Ketu also represents a butcher. Especially when Ketu is in a certain, like let's say Swati Nakshatra can create a butcher, somebody who's able to like cut things. Somebody who's able to like make things more precise. See, what is the job of a butcher? They're not like dealing with like some harmful things. Sure, killing is bad, especially if you do it in a way where the animal is aware. But a butcher simply cleans things in a very precision way. Okay, so this is the rib, this is the leg, this is the shanks, this is the front leg. And speaking of animals, Ketu represents dogs. And this is why they said if you want to appease Ketu, if you want to make Ketu happy, you should get a dog. Now, one thing I will tell you right now, if you just get a dog and you're one of those people who put your dogs outside in a chain thing and with the water all day, or they're supposed to be outside, not inside, do not get those dogs. You'll get more harm in your life than good. And this is not me saying like, oh, take care of the dog, but then you'll be like, oh, you eat meat and animals, and how can you say all this? This is not me. This is simply what Ketu signifies. It signifies a dog. Rahu signifies a cat. So if you get a dog, but you have to treat that dog like your family. Like Yash here, or my 15 other dogs, I don't know how many dogs I have, they all sleep in the bed with us. They all are like family. They're all stay inside. They don't even they just go outside in the backyard to pee and to poop. But all day long they're inside. They just like to sit on the couch with us. When I'm watching a movie, Brad will come in on one side, and then Oreo will be on the other side. Yash will be under the coffee table, and I'm just like watching TV and all that. There is family. This one, like, you have to love dogs. You can't just get it for remedial measures. A lot of people do that. If I even suggest something, they'll do it. Oh, okay, we'll just get a dog, and they're suddenly expecting things to happen. Ketu's not stupid, even though Ketu is stupid, which I'll explain. But Ketu's still observing. Ketu knows everything. Ketu's like, This is what I represent. But if you just get it because you want something in return, it'll never happen. This is why you have to love something unconditionally for you to really experience the true love. You can't just love something beautiful. Oh, you're so good looking, you're beautiful, I'm in love with you. That is a very short term love. But if you love something unconditionally, no matter where this person is, what they're doing, you just love them, you want the best for them, that's love. Same thing happens with a dog and or a cat or a pet. You have to want them. Like for me, it was never about the remedial thing. I always wanted a dog from my beginning. You know, in India, the people dread dogs and they don't want to get they're dirty, this and that. Nobody wants to walk them. But I always wanted a dog. So when I had the chance, I'm like, I'm getting one. And then I went just a little overboard. I'm like, oh, I want another golden retriever. I want a sheepdog. So that's what Ketu. Now, Ketu also represents stupidity. Why Ketu represents stupidity? Ketu represents stupidity because Ketu is a planet with no head. When you don't, people are, and there's phrases like, start thinking with your head. Stop thinking with your ass or your feet. Why? Because you may be doing something illogical. You may be doing something which is just not in sync with society. So when you see somebody who's mentally ill, somebody who's a little slow, they say, oh, he's slow. It's Ketu. Why is Ketu represents that mental illness or somebody stupid, as you may say? Because of the fact Ketu does not care for anything on this planet or on this world. They don't care to follow rules of society. Like you have to get educated, you have to get married, you have to get a job, you have to have children, you have to get some promotion, you have to retire and die. It's like, I don't care for all of these things. I just don't. Just leave me alone. Leave me in silence. So what happens when somebody's like mentally ill or just a little slow? They don't care. They'll sit on one spot in the sun. They won't even beg for anything. They'll just be sitting and just doing whatever. Like, okay. So it's kind of like those people who are that you may call quote unquote stupid or mentally ill, or some people call them retarded. It just, they are not wanting to be in your realm. Ketu is so powerfully placed on their head that they do not want to be in your realm. They are all about just wanting to be out. But because Ketu is a malefic planet, it naturally shows some suffering through those things. Okay? You may not be malnourished. If your parents pass away and you're slow, you might be in some nursing home somewhere, just like, not in a good manner. So because Ketu and Rahu are malefic planets. So this is why, but remember, Ketu also represents calculation mathematics. With Mercury and Mars, can make somebody very, very good at logic, statistics, very good at calculation. But the energy has to be. It's like chemicals. Planets are chemicals. You put two chemicals together, they create something new. So if Mars, Saturn, Jupiter are with Ketu, it'll create something new. It'll create an engineer, a biomechanist, or somebody. Okay. So this is my Ketu. Wow, yesterday I made a 15-minute long video. Now this is 28-minute long video. So perhaps I think you guys got a whole lot more information. Yeah. And also I forgot, Ketu is true consciousness. See, people keep thinking, what is consciousness? What is consciousness? Consciousness has nothing to do with your thinking. Like, I'm pretty sure many of you are thinking about your goals while you're watching my TV. You're thinking about with the girl that you're going to ask out. You're thinking about the next time you're going to have sex, and you're thinking about the next promotion that you're going to have. That's not consciousness. Just your mind. That's your mind, like a monkey. Consciousness is not about what clothes am I wearing and what is God. It's not even that. Consciousness exists in a way where it knows everything. But right now it's very limited to understanding that. This is why sages who become fully conscious, they leave. They don't even care for their children, their wife, nothing. They're no longer attached. They see them as these, like if somebody else's spouse is walking and getting hurt, they're like, okay, if I'm there, I'll help her, but I don't really care what happens to that person. But if it's your wife getting hurt, oh, you'll be running, right? Same way, that husband of that person, that wife is going to run after and help her out. But you won't have that attachment because you've attached yourself. emotionally. And as soon as emotion comes in, that's where you lose the consciousness, the true essence of who you are. Emotions can go and come and go. This is why physics, mathematics is probably God, because they don't care for emotions. They don't care for what you like, what you don't like. Mathematics is what it is. 2 plus 2 is 4. Emotionally, you may think, oh, 2 plus 6, because this and that. That's your stupid emotions. Like, even if like you look at anybody who's devoted to some god. Oh, I'm devoted to Krishna. I'm devoted to this. You're not devoted. If I erase your memory with some device, you won't care what Krishna is. You won't care for nothing. Only if you are fully conscious, enlightened, then I can chop your head off and you will still know who you are. That's the difference between emotions and fully consciousness of Ketu. So this is why Ketu keeps silent. This is why Buddha is Ketu. Buddha says, I don't want to talk to you. I don't care to conversate. I don't want to prove anything to you. I don't care for explaining anything to you about God. Just leave me alone. Now, if you want to know, truly, fine. Ask me and I'll tell you. But I'm not going to counter argue with you that this is right, this is wrong. Just leave me alone. You wanted a question, I gave it to you. Get out. This is why Ketu people can be very rude. They can be very critical, very rude. Okay? So Ketu has this divine self of being Buddha. But when it comes in our body, other planets are affecting Ketu. This is why, Ketu represents something like dog and says, oh, I will help you get a dog. Why? Because other planets, zodiac signs, forces Ketu to wear all these clothes and to represent these things. Okay? And also Ketu Dasha, Mahadasha, is 7 years long. So it's a 7-year long period, and 7 is a very divine number, very spiritual number. It took God 7 days to create Earth, according to scriptures. So Ketu represents that time period where you should be really focusing towards your spiritual development. As much as Ketu will give you money, you should focus towards your spiritual development. That's the best period to actually open your third eye, to enjoy meditation, to enjoy all these things. So this is why God says, I'm giving you these certain things in your life so you can properly do things according to them. So even if you get a Ketu Dasha in the first 7 years, you should make your children meditate. They're supposed to. That's where Ketu's energy will not be haywire. They'll be running around like headless people otherwise. Okay? So, and then obviously, Ketu controls the nakshatra of Ashwini, Magha, and Mula. It doesn't rule it. Ketu is not a ruler of these nakshatra. It's simply an activating energy for Ashwini, Magha, and Mula. There's actually something I've learned about Mula, which is very, very deep. Even if you don't have any planets in Mula, there's certain things you can see in a person's chart with where Mula Nakshatra is. But I have to learn more on it with the Pi team, Dr. Pi. So it's a very, very deep nakshatra. So anyway, guys, hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. Hopefully I'm aware of this retrograde Jupiter. So I'm not saying anything in reverse like I did yesterday. If I'm missing anything with Ketu, let me know right now. If I didn't discuss something. Anything? Anything that I missed? Something with people, something with, well, I guess I didn't. Yes, Astrophilosophy Hour will be coming tonight or tomorrow. And I think I will make it on maybe subject of rat race, or there's another subject. I have so many listed on my WordPad. I'll just pick one interesting one and we'll make a video. Ketu in Germany. Okay, so Ketu in Germany, first of all, Ketu represents itself. There's nothing that changes in Germany in terms of what the planet means. They mean something, but there's an additions to happen that Gemini has said. Like Gemini said, Ketu is linguistics. Ketu represents languages. Ketu represents calculation, mathematics. And obviously, according to Gemini, Rahu Ketu aspect, depending on the sign that they see in, because the sign will aspect other signs, so it'll aspect these things. Like Ketu in the fifth house from your Karakamsha Lagna, you'll be very much inclined towards psychology, linguistics, research, uh, electrical engineering, especially if you have support of other planets. Or it activates your interest in occult mysticism and classical knowledge, classical literature, which is especially Vedantic studies. Mostly mystic studies, because Jupiter represents Vedantic studies and Sun represents Vedantic studies in Gemini. So that's what Ketu does. Their planets, like through Karakamsha and Arudha Lagna, and see what the planet means. And I'm actually getting my Gemini lessons from Mark Boney. Um, so we're in the middle of our Gemini lessons, level 3. I completed level 2 with him. Right now we're learning about like Super Argala. And we're learning about the yogas within the Gemini. And then he's going to go actually teach us what each planet means and stands for through Karakamsha Lagna. So I'm very excited about that. So anyway, guys, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your Ketu is placed, all your astrological details, my books, reports, consultations, check out the links below. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. And also have the D1 to D9 transformation consultation active as well. Anything else that I want to share? Nothing really. So yeah, I'll just see you guys tomorrow. It's gonna snow here today. Tonight, starting in DC, we're getting 15 inches of snow. Sledding! Me and my girls are gonna sled because we have like this downhill road. So whenever it snows, everybody comes out with their sleds and they sled. So waiting for that. All right, see ya.